morning, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this D&H SMBUnite event. I'm Chris Phillips, Solutions Manager with D&H. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's near and dear to my heart and something that I've loved for D&H for working here for the last 15 years, and that is the D&H difference. I'm proud to work at a place like D&H that prides itself on having unparalleled support and collaboration with our vendors to empower you guys, the SMB customers, with tools and resources that you can use to succeed in this market. And that's what we're going to be going over today, the resources available to you guys to help you out as you go through your daily business lives. Before we get started, though, I do want to kind of go over some of the dashboard. If you guys this is the first time you're joining us for a broadcast, we will be taking questions throughout the broadcast. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask them in the questions window that I just highlighted here. We'll be taking questions throughout the broadcast. We have a bunch of different speakers on. So if you have any questions that come up while anyone's speaking, please let us know. If we can answer them while that person's speaking, we will. If not, we'll save them for the end and get those taken care of at the end. But other than that, please kind of just sit back, relax, and kind of enjoy the next hour as we go over the D&H resources available to you guys. To start things off, I do want to introduce the D&H SMB leadership team. It is headed by Rob Webster. Jen Blum is also on the line. Jen, how's it going?
Hey there, how's everyone doing?
Pretty good. Jen, why don't you tell us a little bit about the SMB leadership team before we get started?
Yeah, of course. So of course we are led by our VP, Rob Webster. Myself, I cover the East Coast sales team. Krista Warrens covers our Central West team, and then Chris, he manages our sales acquisition team. So between the three of us, we are here to lead and to help support your business.
Yeah, it's a fantastic team. I've had fun working with Rob Webster over the course of the last 2 years since he joined D&H. Great vision coming from him and great leadership overall coming from that team. It's been a fantastic honor working with you guys on the pre-sales technical support side for our customers. Kind of moving on to the topics and agenda we have today. To kick things off, we're going to have Ryan Flynn and Liz Matrick here to talk about modern solutions. We have Adam Crockett here to talk about professional and managed services. Trevor Schubert will be joining us going over AI opportunities and solutions. Matt Riley will be here to talk about individualized credit opportunities. And we'll round things off with Dave Labaugh. He'll be here to talk about marketing assets and assistance. But to kind of get things flowing here and get things started, Ryan and Liz, how's it going, guys?
Great. How's it going, Chris?
It's, beautiful spring day here in Pennsylvania. I'm hoping we held on to it for a little longer than a day, but, we'll see what happens. But any day you can open the windows out in March is a good day. So
it's Pennsylvania. It's our rainy season now, so I don't know
exactly.
About that.
So what's going on in the modern solutions world?
Sure. A lot of things are going on, all different, obviously with launch of Copilot and getting lots of different news from Microsoft coming out. We have a whole plethora of things going on. I think across the board, we're doing nationwide shows from device refresh to Azure to AI and, everything that you can imagine. I think you'll see an event coming up in the time near you. We're doing them regionally based this year and kind of grouping them together. So definitely a different approach than what we've done in the past, where it's just been kind of random shows. We'll see different shows within different regions, all corresponding with each other. So we're excited to get that launched here in the next couple months.
Excellent. Why don't you get started with your slides?
Sure. All right, so what we want to go over today is some CSP benefits. So what do you get out of becoming a partner with D&H and selling the benefits, CSP, right? So one thing that we wanted to make sure that we provided to our customers, I came out from outside of distribution into D&H, and some of the stuff that you'll see here today is things that I wish I had provided to me whenever I was working with distributors throughout my past careers. And really that was main thing was direct communication with an executive team and an assigned dedicated US-based sales rep. Two of those things is I want to be able to reach to someone higher if I have an issue, if I have a problem, I want to be able to escalate that. Also having a dedicated person. I want to know who to call. I want to know if I have a problem, I know exactly who to call, what team to call. I don't want to get put into the aspect of, I called this person passed me off to the next one, I get passed off to the next one, that person says, no, you need to be with this other team. We tried to alleviate that. And that's typically in the distribution community, we call that siloing, right? We wanted to knock down the silos and make the team available across all different aspects. And that's why when you look at modern applications, you're like, I don't know what that means. I might know what that means. That encompasses all of our cloud products, right? We kind of went from cloud to modern applications to kind of narrow it down, but that includes our Microsoft CSP, Azure, all of those solutions. The next thing that we wanted to look at is how can we offer you guys better margin, give you more money back, right? And tiered pricing really did that. So we have about 4 different tiers that we look at from an individual standpoint. And what that helps us do is allows you to win deals. So if you came to us and said, hey, Ryan, I have an RFP, or I have a customer that I'm going up against someone else, I'd love to be able to get a little bit more margin to give them a better price to be able to win that deal. We can now do that through our tiered pricing. We also have best-in-class support. Obviously, I think we have best-in-class support, but I think our customers also say that. And that's really where we kind of get into the nitty-gritty of it, real hands-on, helping you grow support, right? And that's pre and post-sale support. So we are going to help you from a pre-sales standpoint, join phone calls, have your sales team be able to call us, have your sales team put us on phone calls and white label us as your sales support or as your own employee. We really have helped partners grow by being able to do that. We want to be able to do that for everybody, right? We want to be able to help you take our knowledge, our experience, and utilize it as your own. And lastly, sales teams and training initiatives. How can we help you? What can we train you on? What can your sales team be trained on? Do you want to help just sell CSP? Do you want to sell E5? Do you want to upgrade from E3 to E5? Do you want to be able to go out there and sell Copilot? Or what version of Copilot should you be selling? What version would work best for them? How do we do an assessment? All these different things we want to make sure that you're trained on, you know who to go to, and you have the resources available to you in order to do that. So what does our dedicated support team look like? Really, this is what it looks like. And when I say account management, I always say this to everyone. If you're a CSP partner with D&H, you get an assigned account rep. And that's not just from a CSP standpoint, a Microsoft standpoint, that's an overall standpoint. So you will have not just one designated rep, you also have more than one. So that really comes into the advantage of, one, building the relationship, getting to know them, know who to call, how to reach out, how to have that person get on phone calls with you. And the difference between D&H and I think a lot of other distributors out there is we do that whether you have 5 licenses or 500,000 licenses. We don't export out anything. You get a designated rep no matter how much you're spending with us, and we're here to help you grow. We want those guys that are small. If you're just getting into it, if you need that support, we want to help you grow. And then from a modern solution support, this is where I said you also have a dedicated sales rep on my team, which will help you grow your CSP and Azure instances, as well as security or any other part of modern solutions that we offer today. Infrastructure support, we have 4 dedicated SEs on our team that will help from Azure, CSP, ABD, anything that you can imagine. That does not include Jeff Hunt's team or Chris's team or anyone like that can help you build out bombs and do other things like that. They are directly dedicated to you from a Microsoft sales engineering standpoint. We also have security support, dedicated security reps that can help you build out different portfolios. If you want to know what security solution you should go with, if you want to know what Microsoft security solution you should go with, what firewall is best fit for your market, we can help you out from any standpoint of that. And then operational support. A lot of things that we found today, if you know Microsoft at all, they like to change things. They like to change things a lot. So the big change this year was you went from silver, gold, or whatever, platinum, whatever the version was that you were on. They changed it where you have to be designated to a specific solution. So we had a lot of people come to us and didn't understand the exact tests they were supposed to take. So we really help you navigate your tenant, navigate those programs, navigate the solutions that they have coming out, where you can get the most margin. We'll really help you from an operational standpoint, kind of manage that overall relationship. Lastly for me is how do we help you? I think we have the industry leading in-house support. I've spoke about this a little bit already. the pre-sales support, the people that utilize that the most are the people that we're most successful with. If you can have us be your closer, if you can have us be your overall knowledge base for Microsoft, we will help you kind of land deals. We will help you join phone calls. And we want to make sure that you're utilizing that to the best of your ability. So obviously the team that we have in place today are all certified Microsoft sales specialists. They are your resource to go out and win and close deals. We also do customer facing pre-sales and post-sales support. So that could be, obviously you bring customers to us, we go on site, we can do anything from any type of sales scenario that you can bring to us. We will help you navigate that process. And lastly, support for Microsoft programs. Like I said, it's a lot of changes that happen on a yearly basis, and we want to make sure that you have a good understanding of it, you have a good background of it, you know exactly what you need as far as tests, exams, certifications to be able to pass to keep your back end and your margins rolling. So with that, I'll pass it off to Liz, and she'll kind of go over a little bit about our marketplace. Our marketplace kind of runs all of this stuff for you. This is where you go in and purchase it. It can be provided, can be branded, provided free of charge, can look like your own marketplace whenever you do that. Your customers can log in, purchase on their behalf. You can set it up however you want, but Liz will go through that a little bit and kind of show you a little bit what it looks like. Liz?
Thanks, Ryan. Hi, everyone. So, Chris, am I good to move forward in the? Yep. Okay, great. So my name's Liz. I work with Ryan day in and day out, as well as the Modern Solutions sales team. Totally agree with his sentiment. We are the best in the biz in terms of supporting our customers. But what I want to do today is really go over our cloud marketplace and what it can bring to you and your business. It's really a self-serve platform. You can go on there. It's very user-friendly. You can gain insights through reporting that's available. It streamlines the operations end to end. So I'm actually going to share my screen and take a couple minutes to walk you through the platform that we use at D&H. Okay. So this is the platform. This is our D&H cloud platform. And when you log on, you're going to log on to the home screen or the dashboard. And this is where the platform will show you who we support in terms of vendors. Like Ryan said, there are a lot of changes in the cloud space, specifically Microsoft. You can see here, we have a Microsoft update for our reseller community. This is where we make announcements to any changes to the business that our vendors might be implementing. But what I really would like to go over is the reporting available. So when you sign on to the cloud platform, you can actually gain insight to your billings through the intuitive reporting that's available on the platform. There are two places that you can access your billing and gain insight to your consumption every month. The first place is in this home screen, and this is where it's going to show you the preview on what you're on track to be billed for the month, as well as any historical billings based on your consumption and activity. You can export this report, which I'll show you quickly. And this shows you product information, as well as when the product was billed for, what the terms were, and so on. Another insightful report that we use quite often is called our invoice aggregation report. And a lot of resellers take advantage of this report. And what this does is this allows us to see consumption mid-month. So you don't have to wait till the end of the month to maybe see your Azure consumption. You can pull it anytime during the month and see where you're at. You can also pull this reporting the very first day of the next month and get your billings out to your customers. And this shows you much more detail around your business, who you're billing in terms of your end customers, the product, as well as your cost and what you have set up to sell to to your end users. So if you would like to, I'm going to stop sharing here. So if you would like to set up a more in-depth demo, feel free to reach out to Ryan's team at modernapplications@dnh.com for that in-depth demo. There's plenty more than reporting. Reporting's just what I love because I'm in operations, but there are so many great features. It's very user-friendly, and the team, they are experts on this platform, so you will be in good hands. And Chris, I'm going to pass it back to you.
Thanks, Liz. That's a great demo showing the cloud platform. It's good to get a look at that platform for those of you who haven't been on it before. Liz, I believe there was a question that came in that Ryan was answered, but I think it would be good to kind of get that out to everyone so everyone can get the answer to that. Excuse me, Jen.
Yeah. Let me see here.
I think it was Jeff. It might have disappeared.
Jeffrey.
Yeah, he asked how he could become get set up with Azure and talk with our Azure team. So I had him reach out to me. You can reach me at rflynn@dnh.com, or you could, as Liz said, modernapplications@dnh.com goes into our main mailbox that will help. We'll give you the whole entire team.
So that sounds good.
Thank you,
Ryan.
The selling price, that is you who establishes a selling price. You can go into your individual marketplace and set that up.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much, Ryan and Liz, for that update from you guys. We're going to move right along to Pro Services. We have Adam Crockett here with us today. He's our Senior Director of Professional Services. Adam, how's it going?
I'm good, Chris. Thanks for having me. And before we get started, I just wanted to send a thank you to the entire attendee list. Looks like there's over 100 people on the call, and it's an investment in your time, and it is your time's important, so we appreciate you taking the time with us. We hope that you pick up at least one or two easy things to remember and follow up with D&H. And also, thank you for your business. We appreciate it. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, so thanks again for that. In my role at the company today in professional and managed services, I'm responsible for all the pre-sales support resources, pre-sales engineers, solutions architects, and as well as the post-sales delivery, project management team, and operational folks that deliver the work that we're going to talk about. But the way we set this up a few years ago was we first felt like we needed to develop a methodology that would sort of guide us in building out our professional and managed services. And so we came up with this acronym, which we refer to as AIM, and it really just kind of spells out for what us internally, as we're building our roadmap of services, it either needs to be an assessment, an implementation service, or a management service. And we kind of tried to simplify, make this very easy for everyone to understand. When any end user of yours or any of ourselves who are out going to buy something, you typically are first going through an assessment. Is it the right piece of technology I want to buy? It's either this one or this. We all do this. We probably just don't think about it. But then there's a selection made, and sometimes D&H helps you with making that selection. From there, you move on to the implementation phase. How's this going to be installed? How am I going to migrate data over to it? How am I going to get off of the old device and sort of plan out the provisioning or the installation? And then lastly, once it's actually turned on or it's up and running in the environment, then you move on to the management phase. And again, somebody has to do the management phase. And so with these three simple questions, who's doing the assessment, who's doing the implementation, and who's doing the management service, we think you can help get that answer from your end user. And it's either you're going to do it, we're going to do it together, or somebody else is going to help the end user. Most of these things are not being done exclusively by the end user. So with that methodology in place, then we began to build out partner-aligned services. And what I mean by that is what our portfolio of services that we do with one partner in this call could be completely different than another partner. It's a very unique arrangement where we are aligning our portfolio to theirs based on maybe limitations they have on capacity. From a seasonality perspective, it may be a competency issue that they don't want to make the investment in that particular area. It could be geographic. for a host of reasons, you may not want to get into managed services, or you only want to be in managed services but not be in professional services, or vice versa. You might want to be in professional services but not in managed services. So what we tend to do is try to have what we refer to as our AIM alignment calls, where we're just looking to see where we can do something that you don't want to make the investment in right now, or you just have some temporary capacity issues. And then from there, there's the way we deliver the service is 3 different ways. It's either going to be at D&H as a pre-deployment service. This would be things like configuration or asset tagging or laser etching or imaging or autopilot or Windows imaging, things that can be done on a device before it gets shipped out to either you or to your end user. More times than not, those are I and AIM, but that would be one delivery model. The second delivery model is project services. These would be delivered at the end user location. These would be going on site, sometimes virtually, but more times than not, this is where we're hanging something on a wall, an access point. We're doing something in the data center. We're hanging up a large format display or some sort of audio visual equipment in a smart conference room, but it's on site at the end user location. And then the last delivery model is the M in AIM, and this would be our management suite of services. This would be done most likely virtually. 2 options, a do-it-yourself model where we just help you with what tools you'll need to actually do managed services yourself, and these can be acquired and provisioned through the cloud marketplace that Liz and Ryan were talking about, or we can actually do it in a co-delivered model where we help you with the people and the process and the technology to deliver a recurring revenue type of service or a management service. So any questions on any of this can be emailed to managedservices@D&H or proservices@D&H, and we'd love to have an AIM alignment call with you or anyone in your organization where we can figure out where we could maybe be used on a supplemental basis to fill out your services roadmap. With that, I'll yield back my time to Chris.
Thanks, Adam. Real quick question before we sign off with you. Is there any regional limits to our managed services, or are we able to handle pretty much any request across the United States?
Yeah, we're able to handle requests, and a lot of people do ask, is it nearshore, is it offshore, it's a blended dual shore model for our managed services, where we do have U.S. co-owners that do handle some of the support calls for our help desk as a service option. And then as the day turns to night, we do roll in some cases to a dual shore offshore model.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time here, Adam. Going to move things right along to someone who I'm very familiar with, that we've been on many broadcasts before. Trevor Schubert's here to talk about our AI opportunity and solutions opportunities. Trevor, how's it going, man?
It's going. It's been just a few of these I think we've done together, right?
Just a handful. I was familiar.
Enjoying skimming over the attendee list, and to Adam's point, seeing 100 plus, I see a lot of partners I'm familiar with, a lot of names I'm familiar with. Thank you guys all for being here and for continuing to support everything we're trying to do to help you, our customers, just go out there and be the best possible partner that we all can be. So with that being said, following kind of the theme that Adam just left off with assessments, we were curious if we could do a quick moment to do a poll here and see what percentage of you feel like your customers are aware of Microsoft's end of support for Windows 10 this fall. I know the theme of this and the general purpose of what I'm going to do is get into AI, but this is a very relevant piece. It looks like we've got some folks that are chiming in here, so we'll let that marinate for a quick minute, and then we'll send the results out.
Yeah,
but really, there's some things. Go ahead, Chris.
Good. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say there's some great things that we want to make sure that we leave you folks with today around assessments. Aside from the reality that, as Adam just presented, we have a great list of teams here that can support things like the implementation of a deployment, but we're actually trying to get to the first part of that assessment to figure out, partially, do they understand that the end of support is happening? And also, what devices do they have that are currently able to move to that? If it's going to be a soft transition where they're just able to upgrade and go, or is this a total refresh of the device? And if we're doing that, if we've got the wheels kind of spinning and the treadmill starting to go, are there other things that we should be considering, like network refresh, server refresh, all sorts of things that blend into that well? It looks like we got a fair amount of results here. I think we can push that. Or Chris, do you have the magic fingers? I don't know if I do.
I went ahead and pushed that. And much to your point, Trevor, I've been standing in facilities all across the country that are currently have a fleet of Windows 10 devices. And if you ask them, hey, what's your plans for the Windows 10 end of support? they don't even know what I'm talking about. And these devices aren't necessarily newer Windows 10 devices. They're running 4th generation Intel on there. So, and I think some of the poll results there kind of back up that.
No, great. And I'd like to see the middle line as strong as it is. It sounds like everyone's out there kind of beating the drums, because I'm saying it probably until it's just about go time, we're not going to see this sort of hit the normal kind of news threads. I think about things, I think as much as our partners do, try to empathize and put myself in the shoes of some of these smaller end user environments, even if they're medium scale. The IT staff might be limited. That's why you as our trusted advisor are there to be the MSP that you are and be the rock stars that you guys are. But the reality is sometimes they just fall off the radar, or like I said, until it's kind of in the news feeds, and there's a lot in the news, let's not get into that, but it's not going to be as relevant until it's almost go time. And it might be too late to make that decision, or it might be more painful at that point to do it, as opposed to trying to prep it out and potentially help make the right choices, not just in the types of devices, but the other things that might come along with it. Like I mentioned, server refresh, network refresh, component refresh, all of the good things. So with that being said, I don't know exactly where it is. I think it'll be somewhere in housekeeping at the end, but there's some resources that we wanted to make available to you guys in terms of 2 ways that you can do an assessment. One you might already be familiar with. It's referred to as a PC Health Check. It's one little PDF template that's co-branded Microsoft D&H. You can certainly obviously add your own logos into that and present that to your partners. And really, that's just a way to deploy a tool on a single device to say, kind of pass or fail. Is this device ready to go to Windows 11 or not? The other way is a little bit more complex, but it benefits greatly if the unknowns are there in the environment. What I mean by that is that you might be in a situation where your end user's IT department is maybe new to the job. Maybe there's been a couple different hands in the cookie jar, so to speak, and maybe they're not really too sure what the environment looks like, but they know they have Intune set up. If they do, there's a couple of ways that you can run that sort of request out to Intune, and we give you another PDF that walks you through that as well. But those things are pieces. If you can get that process started with us, we can partner with you and help have those conversations. So it's not just about whether it can or can't pass, but also what are the good recommendations based on the use cases that we can roll into, which takes us nicely to the next slide, Chris. Let's see if I can push that. There we go. Okay, so knowing that we wanted to focus on refresh a little bit here and talk about things within AI as a whole, I wanted to make sure that it was known for folks that are on the call. Maybe you've seen some of these. Maybe you've seen Chris and my mug a few times together, sometimes in the studio, sometimes on calls like this. We have a big initiative at D&H around Go Big AI. And what that is a lot of, I'd like to call them kind of like a manageable tech bites or things kind of broken into specific categories within AI that we're talking about. Things like, just the good parts of it, the not so good parts of it, and kind of everything in between. But really just every time we try to be as quick as we can to market with these, when we realize that things are kind of getting stood up, like the Copilot Plus PCs and things that kind of rolled along there, we wanted to make sure that we had a lot of content readily available for you guys to consume along with everything that's out there. We wanted to give you the D&H brand of that, because in the end, we're trying to look at this from a distribution perspective. What makes the most sense for sustainability? And this isn't just a here today, gone tomorrow sort of a fad. How can we help build this and make the right decisions? Which goes back to Adam's methodology around AIM, where we're saying we want to do that assessment first. So let's assume we've kind of gotten to that point, and now they're looking, and we're trying to make some recommendations. I want to kind of walk through this slide by just kind of going left to right here, by saying consider A&D in the reality of, I think we've all kind of heard some of the acronyms that are out there, like LMMs, large language models, and things that I think we've all probably tested at this point. We've used some version of the ChatGPT or a Copilot or a Gemini or some sort of a device-based, request or prompt that's gone out there. And a lot of times those are very cloud-based, so they're going somewhere. And they're going into a data center that most likely, that's being powered by some very, very robust server farm. And we're not saying that that's the solution, although that would have a nice payday for everybody. The reality is that these things are attainable in a small business format. If they don't want that sort of information to go out to the cloud, they want those prompts to happen, they want to build their own LMM locally, they can certainly do that. And there's ways to do that on AMD with their Epic line series CPUs that are great from all of the OEM partners that they are working with. So if you have any questions about that, certainly reach out to Tech Solutions or Pro Services to kind of help build that out. And then the thing that it's more known for, obviously, is around sort of the AI PCs. We've heard about TOPS, which is trillions of operations per second. Sometimes Chris and I argue on that because it's either, I think I call it trillions of operations, and what do you call it? What's yours?
Trillions of operations.
Oh, maybe I'm just calling it trillions now. I think you've convinced me. That's the better way to.
Or it could be tera operations. I can't remember. You and I have been doing this for so long. I can't remember who's on what side of this dance.
TOPS is this new kind of speedometer for saying how fast can my system make the AI go. And what we're saying about that is not just the previous example I gave where you're prompting something that's maybe more cloud-based. It's how fast can this thing do what it needs to do on my actual system. What's the unit of measurement? And they refer to that as TOPS. So again, AMD has a lot of great solutions that use that measurement. If you've got customers that are actually asking about that, sounds like they probably already are well aware of the end of support for Windows 11 if they're looking in that regard. But reality is that there's things that we're looking at refreshes if they're looking at doing kind of localized AI as opposed to a lot of cloud heavy stuff. This makes a difference on the kind of performance that you can get on that system that they're using, whether it has that kind of TOPS rating, which usually means it's got an NPU or neural processing unit within the system as well. So as we move through kind of the adaptive and embedded, talking about the different things that are available, I wanted to kind of bookend this by mentioning gaming, because really that's sort of the wheel that made all of this start to turn and turn and turn and turn. I mean, we think about things like TOPS, and we mentioned, kind of the NPU world. It's a lot easier to measure that in FPS if we think about kind of the gamer world and where these GPUs that I would say that they're still not going to be used for gaming. I think there's a lot of use cases for that out there, but really in the business sense, and we're not saying put in some high-end gaming, GPU into a system and make it do the AI things, or into a server for that matter. But there's purpose-built solutions specifically around AI, and GPUs do actually help leverage and process a good chunk of that. I'm talking to you on a system right now that has a pretty robust GPU, and it's doing some fun things with my camera right now where I'm getting some adjustments on my background, but I'm also doing things like, we're going to test this again. See, I think probably losing any background stuff is getting muted ultimately, automatically real time. And again, I know that these things are starting to become more commonplace when we look at maybe the more common platform like Teams, but we're not on a Teams call right now. We're using, my inference of this in a local environment to do that kind of processing power. And I can hear the fan spinning, so I know it's doing a little bit more than it normally would do. So it must be the processing that's happening. So moving right along, wanted to also kind of go back and say, all right, we've got these systems now, we're making these recommendations. Back to that idea of trying to get in front of and using potentially the end of support as the catalyst to look at more and more of what's in the environment to see what would be a good benefit. To think about the components, think about video conferencing, first back up a second, the components themselves from Logitech and some of the pieces that are out there that they have that are purpose built for AI, and in a lot of cases, specifically Copilot, like their new MX series keyboards have the actual Copilot button. We know that Windows refresh machines, for the most part, they made that change recently. It was the first time in, Chris, keep me honest, what was it, 30 years, 40 years that they've changed the normal PC keyboard? Yep. Yeah, to introduce the Copilot button to the bottom right corner key, right there, if you can see it. But really, that just means that what I'm able to do with a system like that is, now that I've got the right software in place, I'm using Copilot, I can quickly call that up and prompt it. Yes, I could do keyboard shortcuts around that, but this is a way to really just kind of keep it clean, keep it mapped, keep it uniformed, and make that part of your overall proposal when you're refreshing those systems. Because really, in the end, and I didn't want to throw a whole lot of time into this by showing some of the videos, I would encourage you to reach out to Tech Solutions, reach out to Pro Services if it gets to a point where we need to deploy some of this. But in the conferencing world, there's some really great videos that Logitech's put together around kind of the overall ecosystem and workflow of this, where you're in the middle of a Teams call, you've wrapped it up, you're using all of the great features that they have available to them with their new refresh of their devices. But now I'm hitting the Copilot button to refresh from that Teams call. What was it Chris said about the last session? What did he want me to do? What was the action item? What shirt was he wearing? I'm not sure.
Oof, it's telling me what shirt I'm wearing. That's a problem. I think we may have lost Trevor here as well. Well, we certainly did lose Trevor, so we'll move on from Trevor. And if he comes back, there's a couple of questions that were slated for him. We'll kind of address those at the end of the show. But we're going to continue right along here. Next up, we have Matt Riley. He's on a credit team. Matt is here to kind of talk to us about individualized credit opportunities. Matt, how's it going?
It's going good, Chris. Thanks so much for passing it along. And again, echoing other sentiments, thank you to all the partners on the line here. Hopefully you gained something from it, and happy to be here. So as Chris mentioned, I'm going to kind of talk over some of our credit and finance opportunities. And I think when you heard the prior presenters speak, you're hearing an overall sense of excitement and bullishness for the opportunities that are out there in the market. I think when you remove all the noise in the macro environment for the overall economy, there's a lot of really cool things going on in tech right now that have a good, strong bend for positivity for where the industry's headed, and a lot of opportunities for our partners. So with opportunities become a necessity to think about the credit and financing side of the business and how you're going to go to market. And, hopefully you've got opportunities ahead of you that are going to require some creativity and larger credit lines extended. And that's what we're here for. I really want to kind of bang the drum and preach that, the D&H credit and finance team, it's an extension of your business, right? We want to work with you, understand your needs, and we've got a lot of opportunities for you to accommodate these orders that might seem challenging and maybe you thought impossible. So kind of really think of it as credit not being an obstacle to overcome, but really you've got a toolbox here with D&H, and we can solve a lot of the credit obstacles you might have. So there's certainly needs to do that. So what I've got here on this slide is kind of breaking it down into kind of the major buckets of what we have for how we view our credit toolbox, right? And I'll kind of go over these at a high level and wrap it up with some resource material for where you can contact us and get more information on each of these programs. So first off, really want to talk about your D&H terms and credit line, right? We view, our spot in the channel, we've got a lot of value adds across the organization, and credit and financing, frankly, is a value add. That's a value add to our manufacturer partners, and of course, a value add to our partners, our customer partners. So we want to work with you, and similar to how you look at personal credit, there are things that you can do to maximize what we offer you, and really it comes down to relationships, right? So obviously, paying your invoices on time is great. That's going to help you in the long run. We're realistic that things happen, right? Cash flow is not always steady. Things go wrong with orders. So there's going to be, some slow payments. So I think that's where communication comes in big, right? If we understand why the slow payments have occurred, and if you're paying on time more often than not, that counts for more than the isolated slow payment. Sharing financials is a big piece of what we look at too when we look at larger credit lines. And really not just sharing financials, but having a dialogue around the financials too. We have an understanding for the industry as a whole, and really look at the numbers beyond black and white. So once you share financials, we're happy to dig into the numbers too and get a better understanding for your business as a whole. Another big thing we do in our offerings is realizing that your businesses are not static every month, right? There's fluctuations in terms of large opportunities that might be an outlier. And there's seasonality, right? I think a lot of our customers have seasonal needs based on their business model that are different than others, right? So that's important to us. And we do a lot of temporary and seasonal increases where we push the boundaries of what traditional black and white credit analysis would suggest we offer and really look at it on an opportunity basis. Because, again, we're not a bank. We are really an unsecured creditor. We're a partner of yours. So knowing more about your business, we're really making credit decisions, but also business decisions, right? And coming to a common ground with our customers there. And then on this end, I think one of the most important things you can do is establish a relationship with the credit folks that work with your account. Similar to how you have sales resources, every single one of our customers has dedicated credit resources on the credit services side for your account maintenance, statements and things of that nature. And then also on the financial services side for our programs and credit line increases and things like that. So if you're not sure who that is, reach out. We can get you in touch with the right people and obviously have discussions to better know your business and help you out as things move along. So again, that's what we offer you on a direct credit line. For most of our partners, that's kind of the meat and potatoes way that you order. And then the other things I've got listed here are the programs that we have available to you that some may fit better than others for you. And in many cases, all of these fit certain customers of ours. So the first one to talk about is our ACE program. This is a really great program that we use. We've seen really exponential growth with it over the past few years. And the way to look at this program at a very high level is it's really just a redirect of your end user's payment to our PO box. They're still making the payment payable to your company. You still own the relationship from invoicing, collections, revenue recognition. It really is just a redirect of where the payment's going. Your end user does not know we're involved at all. And what this allows us to do is, if we've got good partners like yourselves, and we've got a good end user that we deem to be zero credit risk, SLED, Fortune 500, it removes credit obstacles, right? It essentially gives you unlimited credit line, removes any working capital constraints, and really gives you that peace of mind that you can go out and bid and chase on large deals that you might not have the existing credit lines to accommodate. This program functions on top of your credit lines. When we do orders on this program, it doesn't touch your credit line at all. So not only are you maximizing what you can go out and win business on, you're also keeping your credit line clear for your day-to-day run rate business. So this is really a powerful program to really just affect your business across the board, from revenue and working capital, and just, again, go out and chase opportunities that you might not have thought were possible. Moving on, next topic would be our inventory finance partners, flooring solutions. And we partner with all the major ones in the industry, DLL, Northpoint, Wells Fargo, WeFi, Peridot. Those are the main ones we work with. And the benefit here is that it gives you a supplemental line of credit, additional credit capacity. So as your business grows and your needs fluctuate, this is another line of credit you have that you can utilize. And really where we see the most benefit for it are with the manufacturers that have stepped up and sponsored some of the extended terms programs, specifically Lenovo and Lexmark, I've got noted here, have really great programs with DLL, where you're able to get 60-day payment terms at no additional cost. And that's, again, really powerful extended terms financing, and a rarity in today's environment where it's not going to cost you anything at all. And then kind of lastly, touching on, and this is kind of puts a different selling motion on your organization that I think a lot of our partners are getting pretty adept at, and this is offering multi-year payment solutions. So we partner with a lot of finance partners in the leasing space, where you can go to your end users and not only present to them a standard quote, but okay, this is what it would look like if you broke it down into a 2 or 3 year payment plan. And in some cases, that's going to be powerful and an attractive solution, where they're turning that large capital expense into a smaller operating expense that's more easily digestible, and kind of sets yourself apart when you're working with them in that manner. And then kind of building onto that from just a traditional leasing solution, we've got a really great everything as a service platform. And if you look at it, everything as a service, I think the easiest way to look at it is basically a lease where you're having the hardware, but you're also bundling software and managed services on top of that. So giving you really a full service solution for your customers. And that, again, breaks it down to the monthly payment plan. You've got the full life cycle services on it. And this puts you in a great spot to capture a refresh on the end of the deal as well. And then lastly here, just moving over to another slide, kind of these are just some resources. This is the team inbox where you can reach out. Again, really want to partner with you, have a team that is dedicated to your account and happy to jump on calls to go over opportunities and just learn about your business as a whole. The next would be just a landing page for the programs I've mentioned. And lastly is the solution builder I mentioned for everything as a service platform. I'd encourage you guys to go check that out. It's really well built. It's a really great tool to utilize to familiarize yourself with the platform. So with that, I'll hand it back to you, Chris.
All right. Thank you, Matt,
Actually,
so much for...
Real
Go ahead.
quick, Matt.
Go ahead, Jen.
We do have a question in the chat. Looks like a great question here. Does ACE allow partners to go after federal, state, and local government opportunities? Yes, that's a great question. And that is, frankly, where we see the most usage of it. A lot of SLED, state, local, and education, we see that's probably the largest area that it's used in, but it also does work in federal as well. That is really kind of where the program is hit its stride, and we see a lot of benefit there. So, yes.
All right. Thank you so much for your time here today, Matt. I will echo his sentiment. If you don't know who your credit rep is, find out. Ask your sales rep, get a hold of your credit rep. At my time in the sales department here at D&H, I loved my accounts that stayed in touch with the credit team as well. It's an important relationship to foster. All right, finally, we have Dave LeBlanc. Dave is our senior marketing manager, senior manager of marketing communications. He's here to talk about marketing assets. Dave, how's it going?
Hey, Chris, it's going pretty well. This is the first time I get to present with you on a webinar after many, many years of producing things with you behind the scenes. It's nice.
Yeah, but we'll pull back the curtain for a second. Dave has been behind the scenes with the Solutions Lab for longer than I've been at the Solutions Lab. He's the mastermind behind everything that's happened with Solutions Lab.
We won't say that I'm the brains of the operation, but we're not
close to it.
But we're going to move on to a different topic from that, though, Chris. We're going to talk a little bit about marketing and what we offer as far as marketing services goes at D&H. So I pushed a polling question out to our audience, and I really want to know from our audience, does your business have a dedicated individual who manages all of your marketing efforts? So I'll give that a little bit to marinate and see what answers we get from our audience. And the reason why I'm asking this is because we find that a lot of our partners do not have that dedicated individual who's working on marketing. In fact, many of you might be a business of 1 or 2 or 3 people, where you're focused on the day-to-day operations of the business, closing deals, making money, and implementing the solutions that your clients are asking for. So the reason why I actually asked for marketing to be the last thing that we present on is because it's important to cover, but often it's the last priority in the prioritization of what your business needs to do to operate and function. The good news for you is that D&H is here to support you in your marketing efforts and to make things a lot easier on you if you have a smaller business and less resources. So I'll push those results of the poll question a little bit later, but what I do want to get into is I want to get into first introducing TechDrive Creative Studios. Now, TechDrive Creative Studios is our in-house marketing agency that works for D&H. We are the advertising agency that is behind the scenes doing everything that D&H offers and doing anything that D&H needs. But we also operate in a different capacity. We operate as an agency for you. And what that means is that we offer custom services to our partners. So if you need a logo redesign, if you need a website redesign, if you need a marketing consultation, if you want a social media audit, if you just want to talk about what you can do better with your marketing, how you can generate more leads, how you can close more sales for your guys, we're happy to help you. And we want to help you. We have a team that is made up of industry experts. We have a team that is made up of world-class marketers who know what they are talking about, that have a plethora of experience with all things. And so the most unique part about this and this TechDrive Creative Studios agency is that our marketers are not from a typical agency here. We're an agency that's different by design in the fact that we're an agency made of people that know the channel, know distribution, know your business, know your customer segments, and know how you need to serve those customer segments. So instead of you going to an external advertising agency that might not be familiar with the IT distribution channel or IT in general, you can come to us and you're going to have a head start on all of the work that you need done from a marketing perspective. However, we do know that not everyone's business can afford custom marketing solutions. Not everyone will need a custom campaign. In fact, many of you might just want something that's out of the box and that you can go and quickly download and then send out to a partner or provide during an on-site business. So when it comes to those type of resources, I want to introduce D&H Market Shift, which is powered by our TechDrive Creative Studios agency. Now, Market Shift acts as an extension of your business for marketing services. And the biggest resource that we have here is that we have developed pre-made templates, campaign kits, and marketing resources that you can go to dnh.com/marketshift at any time, log into the website, and you can download and customize any and all of those resources that we have. So as I'm talking, I'm going to pull up just on screen share so you can see what I'm talking about, and so we can talk through what's involved and what's offered with some of these campaign kits. So as that's popping up, again, if you go to dnh.com/marketshift, you'll come to our homepage. To get the most out of this Market Shift web portal page, we want you to be logged into the D&H website. In fact, you won't be able to download any of the resources unless you are logged in. So once you get here, we have one tab for vendor resources. So select vendor resources that are beneficial to you and your business. If there are vendor marketing programs from these vendor partners, you'll be able to go and figure out what you need to do to enroll in those vendor platforms, download the resources, and customize those. But what I'm going to focus on next is our custom marketing resources section. So under custom marketing resources, you are going to find a long list of resources that we offer. And these are anything from individual templates to full-fledged marketing toolkits. And the way that you can go about finding what you need. And Mark, I saw a question from you in the Q&A. You were asking if there were any marketing materials for the Windows 10 refresh. The answer is yes. And I'm going to show you where they are right now. So if you come to the Market Shift page under Custom Marketing Resources, you can browse by vendor or you can browse by category. Because we're talking Microsoft and Windows 10, I'm going to click on Microsoft right here, who is, by the way, one of our vendor sponsors for D&H SMBUnite. And so we'll filter by Microsoft, and right away, some of the resources that we're seeing, we have a Windows 11 Pro Device Refresh Toolkit. This is all focused on Windows 10 end of support and transitioning your clients to modern Windows 11 devices. When you click on that individual campaign kit, you'll come to a screen that shows you what's included in this kit and gives you some context on what exactly it is, and then you can click down. This is going to download a full zip file so you can access all of the resources that are listed and available to you. When you open that zip file, a couple of things that you'll see. You'll see a single page document that shows you how to utilize these resources and how to get the most out of them, including how you can customize each one of those resources. For this kit specifically, we have a sales conversation guide. So if you or your sales reps need to know the talking points, need to know the potential objections or the potential issues that your end clients might have before adopting a new solution, this conversation guide is going to help you out. What problem is it? How to address it. And the best part about this is too, we have a couple of high-level problems and solutions, and then all the way down to some that are specific to verticals. In this one, you'll also get a one-page or a back and front PDF asset. And again, all about upgrading to Windows 11 Pro and the benefits. We have some details on Copilot here. Down to the bottom of this PDF is where you can put your contact information for the company and your address and your phone number. And you can also customize this by adding your company logo here. So this looks like an asset that was created for and done entirely for your business and your clients. A couple of other things that I'll bring up is we also offer social posts. So the social posts are provided within a PowerPoint format. You can come in here, you can save the slides as JPEGs. We provide the different post content and the hashtags to go along with it. And the first page is instructions on how you can best utilize this as well. So a whole series of social posts if you are active on social media and want to use this to evangelize your services around Windows 11. And then finally, the last thing that I am going to share, and I need to find it in all of my open tabs here, we have multiple email templates that we've been placing within all these campaign kits. So whether you have a marketing automation solution or whether you're just sending this out via your Outlook client, or whether you're using Google, Gmail, you'll have this content provided to you in an OFT file that allows you to, again, customize it with your business name, customize it with the first name, or do like an automation or a mail merge to include the first name of your customers. And then you'll be able to populate your details down at the bottom so they can contact you. But all of this is pre-made for you and easy for you to access at any time that you want. So some of the solutions that we cover beyond Windows 11, modern solutions, managed and professional services, artificial intelligence, K through 12 education, DAS, security as a service, X as a service, gaming, esports, peripherals, you name it, we have it. And then of course the vendors that we cover, wide range of vendors, but some of the sponsoring vendors of D&H, SMBUnite, AMD, Lenovo, Microsoft, NETGEAR, and Samsung. We also have custom resources for them that are available to you anytime you want. So Chris, I'm going to close this out and just say that the two ways that you can get in touch with us are, one, if our partners have a question, you can always email marketshift@dnh.com. and you'll get in touch with our entire Market Shift team, me included, or you can go to dnh.com/marketshift. And on there, while you're browsing all of the resources of what's available to you free of charge, there's a form that you can click and fill out, and you can provide the details for you and your business, what you're looking for, how we can help you, and then we'll find time to meet up, and we'll offer that free marketing consultation and work with you through either utilizing the Market Shift resources that we have to you on the website, or we can work on what kind of custom services you need to achieve any goals that you have set for your business and your sales. So, Chris, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you so much, Dave. We should do this more often. That was fantastic.
I don't know. I'm doing the best with what I can. I used you as inspiration here.
Well, thank you so much, Dave. And I want to go ahead and thank the sponsoring vendors for SMBUnite, AMD, Lenovo, Lexmark, Logitech, Microsoft, NETGEAR, and Samsung. Thank you so much to these vendors for helping us bring this presentation to you guys today. We do have some questions that we do want to answer real quick. And Jen, you also have a little contest you want to bring up, correct?
That is correct. So which one do we want to do first? Question?
Or... Do the contest first. Let's do the fun stuff first.
All right. Yeah. Sounds good to me. Well, I will start by first saying thank you to our wonderful presenters so far, and of course to our partners for attending. We know you guys are very busy. Thank you for giving us some time in your day today. We appreciate it. With that, we are very excited to offer the chance to win an amazing Caribbean cruise trip. This will be on the Freedom of the Seas by Royal Caribbean to their private island resort in Labadee, Haiti. Contest runs from February 1st through November 30th, 2025. Couple different ways to win. So top 7 partners with the highest sales revenue for each vendor. Top partner with the highest overall revenue sales across the participating vendors, and then top new partner with the top revenue sales across all participating vendors. So, of course, if you have any questions, need any additional information, reach out to your dedicated D&H sales rep. They have the info for you or can point you in the right direction there. But best of luck to everyone. Thank you again for joining.
While you go ahead and find those questions, can I ask you if I'm eligible to win? No?
That's a Nikki question.
I was just kidding with you. Go ahead.
No, unfortunately, it is just for our partners. All right. So I think we have the question here. I think we actually have one. We did a pretty good job of getting to the questions throughout the presentation. So this one, let me see. I believe this one is for Trevor.
Yeah, survived.
Yes, he is back. So
I have returned. It was a momentary pause. I said the A word too many times. That has I following it. So I won't say those things too closely together, and I should stay on. We'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Right. Go ahead.
All right. So Trevor, what are some of the main reasons an older PC cannot update to Windows 11?
Yeah, the most common would be the lack of a TPM or trusted platform module. It's an additional layer of security. Some folks might have already heard of this or been familiar in Chromebook world. That's been kind of a standard for the last decade or so, and Windows started to bring that into boards. Sometimes on a dedicated motherboard, it might be a separate add-on that you could do. Odds are, if it was an older laptop, there just wouldn't be space for it if it wasn't already kind of baked into the chipset of the board. But thankfully, over the last few years, that's been a lot more commonplace. But if we're pushing maybe closer to 5 or 7, even if you can sit there and say, hey, I've got 64 gigs, I've got 120 gigs of RAM, I'm some crazy guy, I've got all of these things, and I had the cutting edge of what was capable 7+ years ago. If it doesn't have that TPM module, that might be why it fails. And that's why we also recommend the assessment tools that we mentioned in the PDFs are available. Running PC Health Check on an individual system is a good way to do that. And a good best practice, too, would be if you're working with an end user that has standardized on maybe 1 or 2 models, that's a perfect scenario to just really run that tool once or twice, because if it doesn't pass on the first system and it's from the same model and the same kind of fleet, it's not going to pass on the 100th system that you run it on. But the other way, if you're not really sure how broad the stack would be, is to follow the path mapped out within Intune to actually run a query out there to check. But you'll get a very comprehensive result when you run that assessment on why it failed and what specifically might need to be changed. So
Okay.
TPM will come up if that's the issue.
Thank you so much, Trevor, for that answer. We are here at the top of the hour, so we're going to go ahead and sign off. If you guys want to watch this broadcast again, or if you missed any part, it will be available on dnh.com/DNHTV later this week. So go ahead and be on the lookout for that. But I do want to thank everyone for joining us today, and for Ryan and Liz and Adam and Matt and Dave and Trevor and Jen. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you guys have a wonderful afternoon.